I asked the artificial intelligence to list the crimes of the colonial West and the United States in the last 500 years. The response was as follows. The last 500 years have seen significant actions by Western colonial powers and the United States that are widely regarded as crimes against humanity, indigenous populations, and global peace. Here's a list of some of the most notable examples. Colonization and genocide. The Americas. The arrival of Europeans led to the death of an estimated 56 million indigenous people, with some historians putting the number as high as 100 million due to violence, forced labor, and disease. Australia. The British colonization of Australia led to the death of an estimated 20,000 to 60,000 Aboriginal people, who are the native Australians, of course. Africa. European powers partitioned the continent, exploiting resources and imposing colonial rule, leading to widespread suffering and death. Slavery and human trafficking. Transatlantic slave trade and an estimated 12 to 15 million Africans were forcibly enslaved and transported to the Americas. U.S. slavery. The U.S. enslaved millions of Africans, with the institution lasting until the Civil War. Imperialism and neocolonialism. Opium wars. The UK and other Western powers forced China to open up to opium trade, leading to widespread addiction and social devastation. U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has intervened in numerous countries, often to protect economic interests, including the Philippines, Cuba, and Chile. 20th century atrocities. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The U.S. dropped atomic bombs on these Japanese cities, killing an estimated 200,000 people. Vietnam War. The U.S. bombed and defoliated Vietnam, leading to an estimated 1 to 3 million deaths. Iraq and Afghanistan. The U.S.-led invasion led to significant civilian casualties and destabilization. Other notable actions. The Sand Creek Massacre, 1864. U.S. troops killed an estimated 150 to 500 Cheyenne and Arapaho, of course, Native Americans. The My Lai Massacre in Vietnam, 1968. U.S. soldiers killed an estimated 347 to 504 Vietnamese civilians. The Iran-Contra affair. The U.S. secretly sold arms to Iran and founded anti-Sandinista rebels in Nicaragua. This list is not exhaustive, and there are many other examples of Western colonial and U.S. actions that have had devastating consequences. Would you like more information on any of these events? I answered yes, more information. Which specific event or aspect would you like more information on? The colonialization of the Americas, slavery, imperialism, or something else? I said all. Let's break it down into sections. Here's a brief overview of each. Colonization and genocide. The colonization of the Americas, Africa, and Australia led to widespread violence, displacement, and death among indigenous populations. Many were forced to adopt European cultures, languages, and religions. Slavery and human trafficking. The transatlantic slave trade forcibly enslaved millions of Africans, with many dying during transportation from brutal treatment. Imperialism and neocolonialism. Western powers imposed their influence on other countries, often through military force or economic coercion, leading to exploitation and suffering. 20th century atrocities. Events like Hiroshima, Vietnam, and Iraq involved significant civilian casualties and long-term destabilization. Other notable actions, massacres like Sand Creek and My Lai, we already mentioned them, were brutal suppressions of indigenous or civilian populations. Well, there must be a worldwide revolution to put an end to these atrocities and to have more of a wise leadership to the world. These Western powers, led by the US, assume that they have the right to lead the world. They have the right to, they are like the policemen of this world. But unfortunately, we have seen all these crimes perpetrated by these powers, and someone should put a limit to them. Someone should stop them. and people should revolt against such powers. Thank you all for listening and watching. See you later.